Hey there, Patty Dominguez here, episode 73. Thanks for being here. On this episode, I am interviewing Miyako Hazama, who is one of my dear clients, absolute rock star. And the reason I say that, and I come from a place of knowing, is twofold. The first thing is she is probably one of my favorite clients because of the fact that she executes. And what I mean by that is it's not just note-taking and thinking about concepts, it's literally executing. And any coach will tell you, any mentor will tell you, when you have a student, a client that puts things into action, it just builds the momentum, which is so much fun. The other side of it is one of the biggest passions I've really come to hone in on is to work with women who are transitioning careers, kind of that encore career stage where I, for example, was in corporate for 18 years and I made the big leap into entrepreneurship in January of 2013. And I do have quite a few clients that are pretty much in that same boat where they are looking for that next career, right? Something that is more aligned with their purpose, more aligned with who they really want to be serving and connecting with. And it's just so much fun. So she represents those things. She has such a deep-rooted expertise around what she can do. And this whole episode is just to bring to light this whole concept of an encore career, the concept of fine-tuning your message so that you're connecting at a greater level. So if this is you, definitely you want to dive into this episode because it's chock full of goodness. All right, here we go. Let's go. Hey there, I'm Patty Dominguez. You're about to discover what it means to position your brand and your business to stand out. This show explores the stories of small business owners just like you who are bringing their message out to the world and impacting their tribe. So if you want to take your business to a category of one status, then hang with me because this podcast shares everything you need to know about how to be more prolific with your brand so that you can have more profits. All right. Well, I am so excited to introduce on this episode Miyako Hazama, who is the founder of Miyako Energetic Life Design, which is the only comprehensive energetic life design program for stressed out overdoers around the world who want to optimize their cellular power for more energy and overall vitality. Even in the midst of super stressful times like we have right now, Miyako has a very impressive corporate career. She was working for Kirin for 34 years and currently resides out of Yokohama, Japan. And Miyako, welcome to the Positioning to Profit podcast.
Thank you so much for a beautiful introduction. I'm so excited and grateful being in your show because I've been really the fan of your podcast.
I am so happy. I'm so happy to hear that. Okay, well, I think you're so fabulous and you're so special and you bring so much wonderful energy when you talk about this whole energetic life design. Can you give us kind of that 3-minute story of your background prior to doing what you're doing now?
Exactly. Wow. Thank you. Because, have you ever been really stressed out, like you lost connection with your body and mind and you thought that, wow, this is not me. And back in my corporate days, I experienced this at the prime of my life, meaning in 20s. So after I joined Kirin, which is a Japanese brewery company, I thought, I need to validate my competence in front of those males and the managers. And I put so much pressure on myself. And I overworked. I did something. So that's brought me to the point of my burnout and my allergy actually was in full swing. And I thought, wow, corporate life is hard. Yeah. And then I found a very special breathing technique that I learned from my mentor, Master Kozo Nishino, and I heal my allergy naturally. And not only I healed that my allergy, I found that there was secret source of energy inside of me, and I never thought it was in me. So right after I got, fully recovered, I felt so much excitement of being in corporate job now that I work like merger and acquisition deal, negotiation, I travel around the world, and I enjoy that corporate career so much. And that one moment that brought me here is when I reached the age of 55 that I took some medical checkup, and I found that that I have to take some mammogram on the breast cancer.
Oh, wow.
So that, well, I thought, because of that, my vibrancy of like 55, I feel much younger than in my 20s. I was maybe overconfident. And well, my doctor asked me to do the mammogram, and I was okay. But at that moment, I felt that, wow, my life is not unlimited, meaning that there's mortality in life. And that brought awareness of, oh, I can't just hold this, my story or experience being in a corporate and working on my breath work for over 30 years. I cannot hold that. So that's why that kind of epiphany brought me here to present my method.
It's so awesome. I mean, I can tell you so many times, I'll never forget one of the most poignant times that I had in my corporate career, because as you know, Miyako,
Right.
the higher the ladder you go, the more stress there is.
Oh,
You think, oh, I'm going to be
definitely.
high, I'm going to be in a better position and I'll be making more money. But it becomes more complicated,
Right.
right? The higher the ladder you go. And I'll never forget, there was this one episode in my corporate career where I was in the middle of a call. It was a big international call,
Yeah.
and we had to give updates. And I had been so stressed out,
Wow.
and it was so consuming to me that what I call, which was a very significant moment, I had this episode of like hysterical blindness. So kind of like a panic attack. And so
Yeah.
I didn't I didn't melt down or anything, but it was like a panic attack. And I kind of went blind for a little bit. And I was like, what is going on?
Wow.
So my whole point is like the body manifests the stress and overwhelm and all of these things in such a way that it may not be you're feeling pain or things like that. Like it's not over time that you're like, oh, I should do something about my stress. No, it just hits you, like a
Yeah.
2x4 across the face. And it's like,
I
you got
love
to
that.
do something about it.
Yeah.
So when you told me about what you're doing, I thought it was so brilliant. And when you talk about this Miyako energetic life design and the fact that you were able to heal your allergies and how significant it's been in your life, can you talk a little bit about the magic of the energetic life design? Like, what is that? Like, how did you come up with this process?
Yes. Actually, honest with you, I've been doing this. Actually, I've been doing and teaching my method for over 30 years.
Mm,
And what's included is that very simple 4 pillars, and which is a daily accelerator and energy accelerators.
yeah.
And we often tend to actually negate or neglect, which means that I teach people how to use our visualization technique of creating or designing your ideal self image, and then guide them to breathe properly using the cellular level breathing technique, and then
Mhm.
also sleep. We are sleeping 1/3 of our lifetime and we tend to forget. And then lastly comes, when you build up your energy, we would like to really project it, because when you are in the only single, man in an island, and you want to communicate, but what the point, unless you communicate and do something good to the world, or to be loving, caring, your family, your colleagues, everything, it's why you're enjoying energy. So the last process comes this energy projection.
Mm.
But what's interesting was that although I've been teaching, I wasn't so clear about this methodology that I now speak. And that's why I so much enjoyed, working with Patty's framework that brought me such a brilliant, clarity on what I already been doing and teaching and applying, and evolving. And that's makes me so happy at this point.
Oh, that's so good to hear, Miyako. And honestly, it comes down to this. It's like there are things that we do uh naturally, organically, that we're good at. These are the gifts
Yeah.
that we have. And we just share it without even recognizing that it's in fact special, that it's the
Yeah,
thing that we can
exactly.
do something with, that you can build a career with. And I know because I see you on social media, what you're posting about, and just being present and being grateful and like really elevating energy, right? Just
Right.
increasing energy and being present. And I see that in what you do, and it's so special. And the whole point here is that the people who are listening to this, that thing that you do, you don't even realize is a superpower that you can share to the extent that other people will pay you for it. And what Miyako is talking about, this like excellent example of how let's just work through what you do, the transformation you provide, and putting it in a way where it becomes a perfect balance of an art and a science, right? And when you put at the core your client, your premium prospect, and you make it all about them and what it is that they need and really meeting them where they are. So you have this intimate understanding of them in such a way that undeniably, you can help them.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Right. And what's so cool about that is that when you have that, it gives you more confidence. So talk about how, like, do you have an example of a client that you've helped with this structure, with what you
Yes.
do?
Yes. So I help them, guide them to visualize, especially like using their visualization. I guide them to visualize beautiful tree that they love. And that by selecting, making a choice. And I'm going to breathe with that tree and I'm going to grow with that tree. And that kind of growth comes naturally to them. And what happened is that people, wow, now my like posture, just by visualizing tree, wow, my posture improved.
Mm.
Or like working with me like only for 4 days, their throat pain went away,
Oh,
even though they
wow.
have been suffering that throat pain for a month. Or like COVID, well, we cannot totally kind of avoid that situation, but
Yeah.
one of my client recovered in very, very, because she was really keeping exercise that I teach during those difficult times. So
Mm.
the important thing is that whatever comes in our way, and my client, we might face some of the dis-ease
Mm.
that we totally unexpected. With that energy building, we have that protection in you, and that matters because at the end of the day, we cannot kind of infuse them on the bed, the energy that even though you want to give them our energy, it just they have to generate that and have them in them the access that makes a great difference in the recovery process.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So it really becomes the catalyst, so the solution to
Right.
help them move beyond a challenge that they're experiencing with their health. Am I
Yes,
understanding that correctly?
yes. And of course, not only like health, but once we really realize that there's, like you said, superpower in
Mm-hmm.
everyone,
Mm-hmm.
even like 70 years old, 80 years old. So I really love the story that I teach the breathing with like 70 years old student. And he used to be a CEO of a large corporation, but now he said, wow, I didn't know that I have this much energy, once
I love
we
that.
practice like 3 months. And that's kind of, the discovery is, I think we all have access to, but we haven't had a chance to fully deep, really discover or explore it.
All right, we are about halfway through with this episode of the Positioning to Profit podcast, and I wanted to stop by with a share that I'm really excited about. Now, the fact that you're here means that you're probably looking for help with your marketing. I mean, let's face it, most of the marketing tips and the buzzwords that you hear out in the marketplace center around tactics that small business owners can employ. The problem with that is that there's a whole lot of tactics out there, but not a whole lot of strategy. And that's where I come in. I help coaches, consultants, and entrepreneurs position themselves for profit. It won't cost you millions of dollars like the big brands, but it will cost you some time. And in this special book that I put together, you can find it over at positioningguide.com, I go into the essentials of positioning to profit, which is a guide that I put together for coaches, consultants, and entrepreneurs struggling to stand out. So head on over to positioningguide.com and grab a copy for yourself. All right, let's get back to the show.
So that's, every time I see the people's transformation, start to wear nice clothes, beautiful color, even in their 70s or 80s, even like mom.
That's
in
awesome.
84. Well, I think we are really gifted. Everyone is gifted, but just we have to learn to be patient and to look inside other than, looking everywhere else outside.
Right.
That we often do.
Right. It's tapping into the innate abilities and the innate powers that we have and learning how to make the most of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so good. I love it. Okay. So talk to me about how long have you been doing this coaching?
Yeah. So for breathing coaching, especially while I was working, I was working full time.
Yeah.
So I've been doing this like 30 years in my mentor's class. So I taught like thousands of students, artists, doctors, and university professors came. And after I decided to leave corporate, then I was able to do this work. But in the online business, that it's really the noisy, crowded market. So I had to struggle. I had I mentioned, I have to find out my true voice, of my positioning, of my framework. And at the same time, I didn't know, where to get started. So I bounce around taking, various online courses in the market after I became independent in 2018. So I think it's nearly 2 years. I worked trying out a little technique, but it wasn't about the technique. It has to have really the backbone of the center pillar that I also teach in my cellular breath power pillar that we have.
Yeah, it really does. It becomes a foundation for everything that you do when you focus on positioning first.
Right.
So it's so interesting. And you coming from a corporate background, working with a very big brand, like Kieran Brands or whatever, how the big brands, they put so much attention on brand building. Like you can't sit there and be like, okay, let's go on Facebook. And it's like, well, what are we going to be talking about on Facebook? There has to be a structure, like you said, the backbone. And so having this positioning in place, the backbone, how has it helped you now as you're moving forward with your plans of because I know that you're going to be, and I know you've done launches, but you're going to be launching a program soon. So how do you feel now that you have this whole positioning in place?
Yeah, because once I kind of looked at inside of me, like Patty teaches about internal and then external, and I now connected the between, then they're the kind of synthesize. It's not like 1+1 is 2, but it's like multiple of energy there, I found. And that's what I feel most excited about is now I understood why I came along this path, long path of 34 years. Why not opt in like in this breathing class, like being a coach in 20? No, my mentor said, you have to learn in this real world. He said, Master Coach Onishima said clearly that the being in an organization will give you an opportunity that you never gonna imagine. Being well organized and structured, having to we needed to interact with various layers and people around the world. And now everything I learned came to this point. I'm now at the crossroad, and then yesterday I just thought of how beautiful this is, because it's now I feel like I'm a kind of conductor of symphony orchestra.
I love
and like in front of me, there's all the beautiful artists, even like outsourcing people, video editor, my virtual assistant. Everyone is in align with the music that I play, and that feel of energy is so much. And I feel that pillar that I've developed is like a movement. So we start from here now, gradual, and then there will be the finale of energy, transformation. So I just by having that clear design map in front of me, it makes me greater, not only confidence, but actually fulfilling moment that, this is why I came here on this planet like that, there's a download coming.
I love that.
Almost every day.
That's so good. And really what it comes down to is being congruent, right? Being completely aligned. And then I really like that you've tapped into and brought in people into your business in order for them to help you. Like you said, it's like you're orchestrating. And what's so important there is that I know with my team, like I explain to them, or I share with them, I should say it that way. I share with them the vision that I have of like, I really, truly only want to work with business owners that have a product or a service that is going to impact the world in a positive way, right? And so for us, it really becomes a mission to help these women to get the word out there. And it's so important to me, and they are so passionate about it. And so when you can have that clarity around what you're doing, who you're impacting, it's not only outward facing, but it's also inward facing. Like your team also understands that. So you have this, what I think, or what I envision as like this supreme alignment, right? The supreme alignment that is going to clear the path. And when you have clarity, it's like, it's just flow. And so that's what you're talking about when you have these downloads and all these other cool things. So this is getting a little bit into the woo-woo, but hey, that's who we are. That's who we are, but it's real. It's energy, and you're an energy expert. So you can completely understand. And I hope what I'm saying, like it's connecting as well for the person that is hearing this. This is what this is about, is creating those channels so that you have more flow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I love how you mentioned about our energy, because everything around us is energy. But we tend to focus so much on time management, like in corporate. Even when you don't have energy, you can't be present in front of your clients or your team, and you just feel tired. And we are watching, actually. I was watching, as one of my I was in managerial position and I was listening to director giving speeches, but I was kind of measuring their energy actually.
Mm-hmm.
And the one that like Stephen Jobs, really penetrate our heart is like enormous amount of loving, caring, straightforward energy that came through, even this virtual, Zoom environment,
Mm-hmm.
and that moves our people.
Yep.
So that's what feel so excited about
I'm
this
excited
energy
for
era.
you. Yeah, that's great. Okay, so I want you to declare, what do you want to set into action for the remainder of this year going into next year? Like, what's your vision for what you want to attract?
Yeah. So I want to attract, more audience. Before I think working with Patty, I was thinking small. I thought, well, I can help, well, this person, this person, this person. But now, once I have that structure or framework in me, well, my mission is just to serve. Why not put myself out there?
Might as well.
so I finally decided to create my Facebook group called Stay Young with Energy. I've been running that for the page as a page, but I want to have a more community of people, beautiful people that are supporting each other to elevate our energy, because life is tough right now.
Yeah, it
And,
is.
and then I would like to also open up my boot camp of energy building in December, and also do the group coaching work in January, so that I can have more interaction. Kind of,
I
I
love
like
it.
I like that intimate interaction with people. So
Yeah.
even though I have a lot of people I like to talk with, but for the intimate interaction, because I know that by doing that, I can help them really inside out using mind and body workout.
I love it. Such great work. All right, Miyako, a couple of questions for you as
Yeah,
we're kind of turning the corner.
right.
What is one thing that deeply inspires you, person, place, or a thing?
Okay. I think currently is a diamond, you know, because I used to think that diamond is for that fancy girls or ladies.
Yeah.
And although I was so attracted to that beautiful light, coming in and out,
Yeah.
I thought it's not me. I don't deserve at this point. So I was kind of
Ah,
thinking, okay, pearl is okay because I'm a Japanese girl. Pearl is just the right fit for me. But I was, wow, I just thought of, when I try to explain my method of self-image, wow, diamond comes into my mind, and that I love diamond. I own diamond, right? So it's like, oh, I don't need to cover up my real desire. Let's
yeah.
open it up, because the beautiful thing is beautiful. So
Exactly.
currently diamond. I'm pleased to.
Diamonds. Okay, great answer. Okay. And so if you weren't an entrepreneur, what would you be doing as a career?
Yeah, that's a beautiful question. I think, well, I think I was still in corporate
Hmm.
and aiming for that director, senior management position. And
Yeah.
that I still have that kind of, a connection with that arena as well.
I was thinking as you were talking about what you were going to be doing, I think we should talk about doing a corporate program.
Right.
I think we should because I think there's a lot of opportunity there. As
Yeah,
things
because
change and things shift, I totally see your Miyako Energetic life design being a corporate program.
oh, that's fantastic.
I do.
That
I
would
was just
go.
thinking, I'm like, oh, she should really target corporations also because, well, anyway, well, we could talk about that, but that's what I
Thank
see
you for
too.
that great idea.
That's what I see also. Okay. So last question, what positioning advice would you give someone who is looking to grow their business?
Yes. Go to Patty.
No, but for real, like what positioning advice?
Well, honestly, I said that because I think, well, I was doer. So I was quick to do the thing that, most of the gurus are recommending to do.
Yeah.
And tried and tested. I think that testing, tweaking is beautiful cycle. But at the same time, I think it could be repetitive, but what's the point that you want the message to come out from you?
Yeah.
And if that's not resonate with you, and even that is earning, a lot of money,
right?
We can't, I think, continue. So for me,
yeah,
I love, if the universe allow me, I love to be present. Like my mentor, who is 93 years old this time.
Oh, wow.
And he's still providing his knowledge to the world,
Yeah.
So for me, I love to do that. But if that is not your real passion, then there will be a time that, when I open some program and no one comes, well, that could happen. But what the point of just stopping your activity? Life is so short.
It is.
So meaning that I want to be really ask what really you like to do and what's your message, and internalize that using Patty's method.
Thank you, Miyako.
Not a testimonial, but I'm truly feeling that the power of finding your true position that makes you feel so elevated.
Yeah, like to be on purpose. I mean, that's what this is about, to be on purpose. I love that. Thank you so much. I'm receiving that. Okay, so if somebody is looking to find out more about Miyako Energetic Life Design, what can they do today? Because it's also going to be in the show notes, but I want to make sure that people know how to get a hold of you.
Oh, thank you so much. So I created a very fun quiz to measure your energy management. We people tend to do only the time management. So I created to find out whether you master, mediocre, or maybe doing messy in your energy management. So please visit if you like that quiz, and I'd be happy to share my tips and advice on staying that young energy and vibrant.
Excellent.
Real access in your superpower.
Yeah, exactly. So is there a domain? Is there a URL that you have to share?
On my webpage, miyakohazama.com. So MIYAKO Hazama HAZAMA.com.
Great. So miyakohazama.com.
Yes, they're the quiz. So I love to have you in the quiz, and you get results and you find out.
Excellent. Okay, guys. So check out Miyako Hazama, HAZAMA.com. It's also going to be in the show notes. And then that way you can connect with Miyako, because truly I love what you said about people focus on time management, but what about energy management? And I love that. That's such an important thing to understand, is that if you're feeling stressed, if you're not feeling like you have the energy that you're looking for, somebody like Miyako with the deep expertise that she has over, decades of work, it's unbelievable. So you absolutely deserve to check her out. Again, miyakohazama.com. Miyako, thank you so much for being on the Positioning to Profit show. What an honor to have you on.
Wow. I really enjoyed conversation with you always. And thank you so much for giving me such a beautiful framework.
Thank you. It is my honor. All right. Thanks, guys. Thank you so much for checking out the Positioning to Profit podcast. If you haven't already done so, please make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any new episodes. And also, it would mean the world to me if you would take a quick moment to leave a rating and review on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, or your favorite podcast player. It really helps to get the word out about the podcast and, of course, the featured guests. And lastly, please make sure to connect with me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. I'm on all of them. And use hashtag positioning to profit so that I can search you out and connect that way too. All right. Thanks so much. See you next time.